So for the past few months, I have been fishing out of my new micro skiff, and ever since then I'm getting a lot of questions, so I decided to do a complete walkthrough video. So here we go. Okay, so to give you an idea of what this is a catamaran style paddleboard, an SUP, that has got an outboard motor on the back, and it's also got a trolling motor on the front. The base unit of the skiff itself is a Live Water Sports L4 Expedition. So this is a 14-foot long fiberglass catamaran with a 700-pound capacity on it. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and start at the front and we'll go through it. At the very front of it, I've got the SUP Customs plate on it, the actual motor plate, the mounting plate, that you can actually mount a trolling motor on it. This is a 55-pound thrust trolling motor. In the box right there, I have got a Dakota Lithium's 54 amp hour, 12 amp battery. And between those two, I could actually go probably 3 trips without having to charge those batteries at all. It's a great setup having that lithium battery on there. So moving towards the back, I've got a rod holder on the left-hand side, and then on the right-hand side, this is my boom, where I keep my camera for my forward-facing shots. And then this right here is a push pole that I use to push around in shallow water, and also even to push off the bank, like a situation that I've got right here. So I keep that over to the side right here, and in the middle, this is what I use for my dry storage. This is a 65-quart Engel cooler. It keeps everything in there. So any of my water, any of my fishing tackle, anything that I don't want to get wet goes in the cooler. So think of this as a storage unit. And moving on further towards the back, I've got a couple of rod holders right here. And, you know, the rod holder situation that I have, as you can tell, I've got one in the front, I've got 2 in the back. I need to add some more to it so I can put a couple of rods in there. But, you know, just like anything else, always a work in progress. Okay, so moving towards the back here, this is where I've got a lot of accessories mounted. This plate is from SUP Customs. It's a metal plate that's been powder coated. I've got the 6 horsepower Suzuki Tiller motor on the back of it, mounted to the back of it. Next to the Suzuki motor, I have got a couple of gas cans, little small fuel bottles as they call them. A lot of people use them for motorcycle emergency cans. They're 1,500 milliliters, but between the capacity that's in that engine and these 2 cans right here, I can go a very long ways because this motor it sips gas. It's a very, very fuel efficient engine. So in front of that, I've got my micro power pole, and this thing has really helped me out a lot when it comes to holding position, keeping where I want to go without blowing into some fish. If I get into, you know, I catch a fish that's a part of a school, I can go ahead and hit the button, the power pole goes down. I don't have to worry about drifting into that school. So between that and then also the trolling motor on the front, it really does fish a lot like a standard boat. So if you notice, I've got a light mounted on the top of the motor. That is a Guardian Angel. It's the kayak light kit, and this one is really, really bright. It's a great kit. It's got remotes. It's got all kinds of different things that you can do with it. So that's the rear one. The front one I have mounted on the trolling motor itself, and that's right here. This is the red-green one, and this makes me Coast Guard compliant. So you'll be able to see the vessel in motion, and you'll be able to see it at rest with that white light in the back. So a very common question I get is how fast does it go? And I'll answer that here in a second. But, you know, one of the things that I want to let you know where this lies at in the grand scheme of things, this vessel right here is about halfway between, you know, a technical poling skiff and a kayak. It's something that you know, if you're going to be out in protected waters, you don't have to cross big open bays with a lot of wind, and you can stay near shore, this is a great vessel. It will get you really, really shallow, and, you know, it's going to get you there a lot faster and return a lot faster than a kayak can, even a kayak with a trolling motor, or even, you know, a pedal-driven kayak. So because this is halfway between that boat and that kayak, it's a little bit harder to manage than a standard kayak would be. So if you have some physical limitations, this might be a little bit hard for you to load and unload. But once you get a system down, it's not too bad. Now, as far as top speed goes, you know, it really depends on the load. So I have it loaded down pretty good. I've got my trolling motor on there. I've got my cooler on there. I've got all my fishing equipment. I'm not a lightweight myself. I get roughly about 15, 16 mile an hour, right around there, which might not sound fast, but on a board like this, it's plenty fast. And if you think about it, it's probably about 5 times faster than, you know, my cruising speed on a kayak. So one of the things that I like about this the most is on the end of those hot days like we have today, you don't necessarily have to worry about that hour-long paddle anymore to get back to the launch point. I can get back there in probably 10 minutes and just sit back and enjoy the breeze. So that's one of my favorite things about this vessel. So one thing that I did fail to mention while I was out on the water was none of these modifications that I've done to this board are actually permanent. All of these are removable by some quick turns of the screws. Matter of fact, each one of these plates, the front plate and the back plate, are just held on by 8 screws. All I have to do is unscrew these. This plate comes off, and the same thing with the one on the front. And what that allows me to do, if I wanted to just use the outboard motor, I can just rig it up that way. Or if I just wanted to use the trolling motor, I can rig it up that way. Or if I just want to go out there for a paddle and I don't want to have any of the motors on there, I can take the plates off and still use it as a paddle board. So it's got plenty of options. And speaking of options, if you do have any questions, these are available at supcustoms.com. So make sure and go to the website, check them out, or just give them a call. Either David or Austin, they can help you out with that. And the guys at SUP Customs were nice enough to offer our members a discount. So if you are wanting to get a board like this, make sure and check out the group discount page in order to get that code, and that way you save you a ton of money. And if you got any other questions for me, go ahead and put those down on the bottom and I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. As always, I really do appreciate you watching. Have a great one. Bye.